Hey guys, Andre here of Yugatech, and if you're currently looking for a new smartphone, or maybe you're planning to upgrade, but still want to keep the budget below 20,000 pesos, then you might want to check out this Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G. It's the first smartphone in the Redmi Note series with a plus in its name, and it's actually impressive for an upper mid-range device, especially with its 120-watt fast charging capability. So, if you want to know more about this phone, then just keep on watching. First things first, let's do a quick unboxing. As we open this white box up, we're greeted with the usual smaller box that contains the free jelly case, some paperwork, and the SIM ejector tool. Then underneath we get the phone itself. Let's set it aside for now. As for other things in the box, we get the USB Type-C cable, and voila, this thick 120-watt power adapter. And that's pretty much it. Now let's talk about the design. This Pro Plus version basically shares a similar design to the Redmi Note 11 Pro Non-Plus, so we get the same flat glass back and front, together with a nice metal frame around. The only difference between the two is in the camera module, since this Pro Plus has a larger and more protruding one. Well, placing a case on will reduce the camera bump, but it is still noticeable. When holding the phone, it feels hefty and thick, which isn't really easy to use one-handed nor slip into pockets. But like the Pro model, it feels and looks robust. Plus, it's IP53 dust and splash resistant, so it should be fine for people with slippery hands. Take note that this doesn't mean that it's waterproof, but it should survive accidental splashes or rain. What we have here is in the forest green color, and it gives off an elegant look thanks to its frosted glass back that gives a slight light effect when moved towards different angles. It is a bit of a smudge magnet, but not much as a glossy back. For other color options available, there's graphite gray and a shimmering star blue. Found on the right side are all the buttons, the volume rocker, and the power key, which doubles as a fingerprint scanner. Meanwhile, the top part is packed with the headphone jack, IR blaster, secondary microphone, and a speaker grill that also doubles as an earpiece. Then at the bottom we get another speaker, the main microphone, the USB Type-C port, and a hybrid card slot for a nano SIM or a micro SD card that's expandable up to 1 terabyte. Checking out the display, just like the Redmi Note 11 Pro and even last year's Redmi Note 10 Pro, we get a 6.67-inch 120Hz Full HD Plus AMOLED display with a pixel density of 395 ppi and a peak brightness of 1200 nits. The bezels look relatively slim, with the call speaker on the top part, and as you can see we get a punch hole notch on the upper middle, which you can still hide with a black bar in the settings. We also appreciate that on top of the Gorilla Glass 5 protection, there's already a screen protector on top as well. Quality-wise, with an AMOLED panel, you can automatically expect sharp details with bright and vivid colors that blend well with inky blacks. So maximizing the system-wide dark mode is great. In the display settings, you can change the color scheme to standard, saturated, or vivid, or you can also tweak your preferred color temperature. Then of course, there's the option to switch the refresh rate between the smooth 120Hz and the standard 60Hz if you want to save more battery life. Xiaomi's reading mode is also on board, and it helps reduce eye fatigue if you're always on your screen. As for audio quality, this phone stands out within the Redmi Note 11 series with dual stereo speakers that are tuned by JBL. It provides an almost high-end quality with a rich balanced mix of highs, mids, and bass that can still be a little improved. If you want to further boost the sound quality, then you can turn on its Dolby Atmos settings or, use your favorite wired headsets. Running the software is Android 11, skinned with MIUI 12.5. It's a familiar user interface that features custom icons and wallpapers. Apps are arranged on the home screen, but there's also an option for an app drawer if that's what you prefer. There are still a few ads across the interface, but you can remove most of them by turning off the promoted apps toggle. Apps are arranged on the home screen, but there's also an option for an app drawer if that's what you prefer. Then, of course, there's also the option to change the control center style if you want the simple and familiar drop-down style or the newer iOS familiar look that separates the notifications from the main control center. Personally, we prefer the modern looking version. However, unlike the updated MIUI 13, we get a number of bloatware and pre-installed apps, including some game apps, Google, Netflix, Amazon Shopping, LinkedIn, TikTok, Spotify, and Facebook that you can always uninstall if you don't plan on using them. As for storage, the unit we have packs 128GB, and out of the box, we get a usable space of 106GB. Thankfully, you can expand this via micro SD card for up to 1 terabyte. Focusing on performance, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G is loaded with a MediaTek Dimensity 925G, together with a Mali G68 GPU and 6 or 8GB of RAM. The unit we have packs 8 gigabytes, and it is utterly smooth for basic day-to-day phone activities. For its range, this is a high-performing smartphone that can even handle heavy games well under low to medium graphics settings. We didn't encounter a lot of hiccups, and thankfully the body doesn't heat up too much since it does have a liquid cool technology 2.0. If you want to boost the performance further, then you can turn on the performance mode in the battery and performance settings. But of course, expect it to be a battery hog. If you're interested in the benchmark scores that we got, you can check out our full article review linked in the description box. When it comes to biometrics and security, you can unlock the screen via the side-mounted fingerprint scanner and through facial recognition. Both work snappily and accurately. Honestly, we think that placing the fingerprint scanner on the side is a more convenient way to unlock your phone as it is quick and easy to access. As for connectivity, just like its 5G sibling, the Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus is complete with dual SIM, 5G, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.2, GPS, NFC, screencast, and an IR blaster. And as one of the highlight features of this phone, let's talk about the battery. Having 4,500 mAh capacity might honestly be small for today's standards, but the 120-watt hypercharge sounds like a really good deal. It's great because I no longer have the urge to overcharge since I can easily juice up the device to a full 100% in less than 20 minutes. Just make sure you don't lose your 120-watt charger though. If you're interested in the battery test results that we got, click on our review article linked in the description box. Finally, moving on to cameras. At the back, its triple camera setup is composed of a 108 megapixel main, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2 megapixel macro. Then on its notch is a 16 megapixel selfie camera. When it comes to quality, we're mostly impressed with the images produced. It brings out a lot of details, vibrant colors, and a decent dynamic range in bright conditions. If you're into sharp or contrasty photos, then you'll appreciate its cameras more. However, we suggest trying to focus shots correctly to avoid overexposed outputs. Ultra-wide photos also turn out good as well, but looking closely at the edges and corners, there is some softness or a slight fisheye effect. Then when it comes to macro shots, it's pretty impressive. Details are clear, crisp, and the colors are vibrant. For low light shots, it does a respectable job too. It often looks shadowy and muddy without any AI or night enhancement turned on. But when we use its night mode on, we get more subtle details with better lighting effects. Checking out some selfies, it looks a bit pale most of the time, falling more on cooler tones. But with very good lighting or sunlight, you can get a natural looking photo with sharp details. The portrait mode provides good enough subject background separation, plus you can adjust the aperture and blur style depending on what you prefer in post. As for videos, the Pro Plus is capable of shooting up to 4K at 30 FPS. And just like with the photos, the quality is sharp with good dynamic range and colors. Okay, so as of the creation of this video, we don't have the official price yet, but surely we'll update you guys in the comments or description box once it's available. Anyways, this Xiaomi Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus is a very good 5G ready device. We've reviewed a few other phones with pluses on their names, yet so far, Xiaomi got the assignment right, especially if they priced this convincingly well. Most of its features can also be found on its lower variant, the Note 11 Pro 5G. But if you want that super fast charging, JBL-backed speakers, improved performance, and even subjectively slightly better in cameras, then this one's for you. So yeah, that wraps up this review. Now I'm gonna pass the question to you. What do you think about the Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. Once again, this has been Andre of Yugatech, and I'll see you guys in the next one.